Okay, so hello everyone. Since yesterday, I have been a little bit panic mode because yesterday I had a productive day and I still don't know how I function properly because I know the fact that my mentality, or let's say the way I function, is a little bit more different than other people. So I think I want to talk about that because I have been talking about my eating habits, the psychological connections. I also talked about daddy issues, and maybe in this episode, since Mother's Day is approaching, I also created some designs on Etsy. So if you want to check out and maybe buy your mother, I don't know, a cup, let's say bag, or a candle, I created some designs for that. They are minimalistic and so they look cute. If you want to, you can buy it. So I will share the link down below. So yeah, it's my own product. Okay, so let's return to our topic. Well, first let me share about my, let's say, experience. Okay, so firstly, as I said yesterday, I had a high productive day. I was at home. First I wasn't at home. I went out for cycling and I cycled for 1 hour, and then I came back, and when I came back I was feeling well. For example, I'm also doing my cardio. I'm walking, but a little bit more slowly because I'm talking right now. Okay, so I was cycling, and after cycling I felt a relief. And then I said to myself, I think I want to do some work today. Also, Mother's Day is approaching. Maybe I can create a design. Okay, so I indulged myself a little bit of my prior designs, etc., and I mix it with digital tools such as AI, and well, I'm still learning how to combine my handmade products to AI. So if you have any recommendations, please comment below, because I would like to have some recommendations based on this. I don't know, because I'm interested in design, but I don't have the chance to improve myself. So sometimes I draw like a child, but I'm interested in that, and I have got some ideas. I want to improve myself. Okay. Well, and couple of hours. Okay. Couple of hours I spent my time with some, I don't know, drawing, looking at my shop, establishing the shop, and looking at prices, stuff. Well, yeah, my environment was nice. For example, at the table I was staying at the table. Sorry if noises are too loud because I'm walking right now. Okay, so even though the environment was nice, I was a little bit, I don't know, feeling overwhelmed, let's say, because it was too new to me, and since my childhood I instinctively hate new stuff because they weren't familiar. But I mean, due to my experiences or such. I was always involved in some new stuff. So the way I did it was like a neurotypical person. So that's why it made me increase my cortisol levels. I mean, I still want to explore new things. I still want to explore new hobbies, but in a more, I don't know, suitable way. Okay, I will continue about that. First, let me talk about my experience. And then I finished my work, and even though I can speak German, I want to be able to speak it professionally. That's why I want to increase my level to C1, and I put I don't know, I want to accomplish C1 by the end of the summer. I want to get my certificates, and I want to use it professionally. Maybe, I don't know, I will do some job, I will do something else, I don't know, maybe I will use it academically, because I'm also interested in my academic life. Yes, it's on pause still because I'm still exploring myself, but I mean, I want to do something with that. And I also started studying Spanish because I'm interested in Spanish. I'm also interested in Italian, but I thought that, yes, I'm still learning German, so I can add a language that is relatively more easier, more, I don't know, and is more commonly used compared to Italian. Yes, Italian is also used in, I don't know, but I mean, for example, Spanish, you can use it in USA, South America, or let's say Spain. Around the world, a lot of people talk Spanish, so maybe why not, I said. So I started it, and it sounds nice. I will continue. I hope I won't procrastinate. I'm a known procrastinator. Sometimes I get confused and I get overwhelmed, and I'm like, nah, I'm done. Okay, so after doing this, I was like, okay, today was the creation of my first products, and I started a new language, and I'm continuing learning in my existing third language, German. Okay, so I thought maybe I should celebrate it at a restaurant. I could sit down and enjoy a meal. Normally, I was supposed to prefer healthy stuff, but this day I told myself that, well, I will treat myself with some kind of fast food or comforting food that I want to, because it was a big accomplishment for me, because I felt too overwhelmed during that. So I wanted to celebrate myself because it was a huge new step for me. Then I went out, and during that time it was around 4 p.m. and as you know, at 4 p.m. people go out a lot for shopping, for eating, for, I don't know, drinking a coffee. And the location that I went, it was close to my home, but it was a little bit crowded. Well, I don't have problem with people, I mean, but for example, I don't have social anxiety, I used to have it, but now I'm like, I don't care. I just talk with people. But I have problem with my spatial surroundings, I guess. But I didn't know it until yesterday. I knew it actually, but I didn't realize that it was too important for me to stay in, I don't know, in specific environments. Okay, let me share my experience. Well, I went to crowded places. Yes, I mean, I can walk easily. I put my headphones on, and it was nice. It was good. I was looking at the shops. I was looking at my choices. But for example, as the time passed by, I started to feel my appetite less, and I started to feel some nausea, and then a little bit of feeling down and feeling depressed followed by. Okay, and then I thought maybe I shouldn't eat outside, and then this made me even more, I don't know, feeling down, because I was like, well, I want to eat outside, but my appetite is gone and I'm feeling down right now. What is wrong? I was feeling at the top of my energy. I was feeling fine. I really went out really motivated. I was like, I will eat something by myself. I'm confident. I can do everything. I was like that. And then, after being in closed places, I was like, well, here is the deal. I started to feel down. Yes, I wasn't still, I don't know, scared of people. I don't know, I didn't feel anxious, but I mean, there is some kind of sensation that I needed to get out. And I needed to only get some sugary, creamy stuff that are my comfort foods. I already talked about these in my recent podcasts, and I also uploaded a video me eating my comfort foods, and I also talk about my, I don't know, existing experiences, psychological aspects, etc. So maybe you can check them out as well. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so I was feeling down, and after feeling down, I went outside instead of being in crowded, closed places such as shopping malls, or let's say places that had lots of buildings, walls, people. Okay. So I went out and I went into a small market, and then I ended up getting my comfort foods such as, I don't know, Milka chocolate with some Oreo. It says biscuits, and it's also I had biscuits, and what else? Also I had some creamy tiny chocolate stuff. It's creamy. I'm under highlighting this again. So I ended up getting my comfort food again because I felt overwhelmed. Okay, then during this process I was aware of the fact that yes, I had my emotional eating, stress eating, and or let's say binge eating habits. Okay, I realized that. But I mean, I didn't realize the cause of that. So that's why during that process, I was like, okay, I'm doing this right now, but it leads to this. So I was examining myself. I was aware. Sometimes people are like doing this, and I did this since my childhood. That's why it's also a new topic for me. But I also examine other people. For example, my mother. I will also talk about her. She has also been doing this, but she isn't aware of, or my grandmother, or other people. I don't know. I mean, yeah, okay, so I got my comfort foods and I sat down at my room, which is a comfortable place for me because since my childhood I used to hide and eat the comforting foods secretly. And so that's why I sat on the floor and I put the comforting foods. Additionally, I added more with the existing foods at home. And then I put the camera on and started talking. At the same time I was eating, and this made me feel relieved actually. And I ate less. But I mean, normally, if you are not aware of this, you will say that, I was feeling down and I ate. Why did you feel down? Then I questioned, why can't I eat at a regular fast food restaurant at a shopping mall? Why can't I be regular? For example, the people at my age can go out and eat or go around without anxiety at a closed place, or let's say crowded places. But I wasn't able to do that, and until this age I thought it wasn't a serious problem. I was a little bit sensitive, that's all. But here is the reason. I researched about that, and when I checked my experiences since my childhood, I realized that I was highly sensitive to my surroundings. So I found out the term of high sensitive person. Okay, so these kind of people are really aware of their environments. For example, I also used to ride motorcycles and I did it really well. For example, I was riding it really fastly, but due to my peripheral vision, because I was too aware of my environments, I can sense that, for example, a car is coming from sideways. I can easily maneuver my way out. And it has advantages and disadvantages, okay? This type of people. For example, if I was a person who lived in Roman Empire, for example, if I was a philosopher or let's say a warrior, I mean, I could feel myself more free and happy because, for example, during war, you can sense that, a person is coming. So it's like you can defend yourself or attack from other sides, etc. So it's like a little bit kinesthetic power. Also, when I'm in, for example, green environments or my spatial, I'm in a room that has less people or less stuff, I feel more relieved. Okay. So, but in this age, everything is, I don't know, too stuck. Everyone is going to a place, attraction place, for example. Everyone wants to be more social, etc. For example, in designs you can see that in more traditional homes, the homes are a little bit more spacious. On the other hand, now it's too more closed. Also, this term is called as neurodivergency, so it turns out that I'm neurodivergent. Also, well, this affects your learning skills as well. For example, I had lots of problems regarding to my learning processes since my childhood. For example, I found a birth letter and I'm collecting this type of stuff. So yeah, maybe I can do something with that. It would be interesting. Okay. So, when I was a child, I was scared of the classrooms because they were too crowded and had a closed spatial aspect of it. For example, when I started my school, normally I was a child that, played around, and I was able to do even maths, or let's say I was able to draw, write something. I was talented. But then when the school started, I forgot everything because I was, too overwhelmed, too bored at a classroom. Normally, I wasn't even overweight before starting the school years, but after starting school years, I became overweight because I tried to find comfort in eating to ease my cortisol levels because I was too high sensitive. Also, my teacher told me that I was some kind of a deaf person because when she was telling something, I was looking outside instead of looking at her lesson because I was too bored and I was probably feeling anxious and I wanted to go out and play around. And when she was calling me out, I was like not caring her. And then she told my mother that I was deaf. I should go to a doc. Her diagnosis was wrong, but it was through the fact that I needed to seek some psychological help because I was a different child. Well, I didn't act out. For example, the children with ADHD, they act out and they are like rah, etc. But I was a little bit more sensitive, so when something went wrong, I just dissociated myself mentally and I didn't communicate with people. So I was experiencing it internally. Also, until at the beginning of this year, I was also at my master's studies. Well, yes, I was 24 years old. I'm still 24 years old, but I still didn't know that I was a high sensitive person. So, but I shared with the people that I met that, I'm not feeling well in classrooms. I'm feeling bored and I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed in this classroom. I was saying it like that, but they tried to help me in their own way because they were neurotypical people, and it wasn't helpful. I started to distance myself more because the classrooms were affecting me. Also, I had my eating disorder again because when I was in a closed cafeteria at that school, everyone was eating, for example. I wasn't able to eat because I was feeling overwhelmed by the crowdedness, by the spatial aspect. But when we went outside and ate it outside together, I was eating well. And then, for example, after schools, I was indulging myself in more comforting foods. So, yeah. Sorry. There are a little bit more people around the location I'm in right now, and there are cars, so I'm a little bit more distracted, but I'm fine. I'm keeping it going. Okay. So before my master's studies, during the senior year of my bachelor's, I wasn't a sociable person, but I was able to talk with people, with lots of people, confidently. But I was always studying by myself. I was, taking notes, looking at the topics that I was interested in, for example, and that was making me feel better. But when I was spending my time at a classroom, I was feeling more down. Yeah. And for example, during these type of studies, I was also talking, writing, and sometimes moving around. And during moving around, I was also talking about what I studied. So during the senior year of the bachelor's, also this spatial awareness, well, I was studying not in my room, because when I was in my room, I was feeling overwhelmed. Well, maybe I need to adjust lightnings, or let's say the spatial, aspects, because it's too crowded. My room is too crowded right now. I need to turn it into a more minimalistic way. Okay. So, yeah. That's why at senior year, I was top of my class, because I was like, spending more time with myself, indulging in more, hobbies, or let's say studies in my own way. So it's like, So to sum up, even though I'm an adult, I still need some kind of spatial care. So that's why it's my duty to take care of myself in a better way. I'm still trying to find out not the coping mechanisms, how I can turn this energetically, because I still want to talk in front of crowded places. I still want to socialize, but right now, due to these experiences, for example, I'm a little bit hesitant to talk with people. I distance myself a little bit. But Right now, I know my triggers. But for example, let's return to my master's studies. I'm really glad that I shared my, weaknesses. Normally they say that, don't show your weakness or stuff. It isn't a weakness actually, it's my trait. I don't know. Okay. Even though I shared with people that were surrounding me, I told themselves that, well, I'm feeling overwhelmed, especially in classes. I'm feeling not well, etc. And I wasn't specifically saying it like I'm not feeling here, etc. I don't know. I was just saying I'm not feeling well. If a person says that, if you don't understand that person, or maybe even that person doesn't understand themselves, you need to say, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Maybe you need some time. It's okay. I'm giving you time. But you can call me whenever you need. Okay? So, sorry if I don't have the knowledge, or let's say, I don't know how to help you with that, but I still, want to listen to you and support you. Or if they don't have time for that, they could just say, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry if I don't have the time to listen to you or support you. But I respect your space. And I wish you a nice life. They could just say that. And I would be like, okay, that's fine. No worries. And we could have at least a proper and healthy communication with them. Okay, but here is what happened. I started to say that I'm not feeling well, and they tried to help me at first, but in their own ways. For example, they were trying to invite me to parties, to crowded places. So they were like, it will be good for you, it will be good. For example, my parent figures were calling me and they were like, you should talk with more of your friends. Yes, I'm able to talk with them. I still can. I can still send a message. I can still meet with them. But do I want to? Because after distancing myself, they interpret it as rude. And for example, our lessons were for approximately 1.5 hours, and the places were a little bit more crowded and there were walls around us. Well, especially when I was sitting with other people, I felt stuck and I wasn't even able to concentrate and I was feeling down. That's why when the lessons were over, without talking, I was just running away. Exactly. Because in open air, I was feeling better. That's why I was walking a lot during that time, because I knew that it would turn me into eating more. So that's why I also tried to walk during that time. Okay. So here's what they did. For example, they started to going out by themselves. They can do that. So I totally respect that. I wanted them to go out together. And as a healthy person, you want your friends to be happy and socialize. You also want to socialize, but if you have some kind of condition, if you don't feel well, maybe it's not good for you. Okay. Anyway, so they still didn't throw me out to WhatsApp groups or such groups For example, they were creating a activity and they were sending some emojis that represented me, a running girl, for example. And they started to passive aggressively mock with me. And they were like, oh, I should go, I'm not feeling well, etc. So during that time, the only thing I did was, there was a guy in that group, and I realized that he also had some kind of social anxiety, especially in group settings. For example, one day when we met at a bar, he sent a message to a group and felt really anxious about that, and I examined that. So during that time there was some kind of exam and he asked a question, and I thought that the others were probably not planning on answering him. So I directly answered him, even though I thought it was a nonsense question, because I didn't want him to feel anxious when he didn't receive a message, because I also experienced this kind of issues when I was younger. Now I don't care, to be honest. I still care, but I'm like, okay, it's their own choice, I don't care. I have my own life, etc. There's some kind of celebration. I'm still craving some connection, communication. I really wanted to socialize with them, but I'm really glad that I realized this, because if I saw, sorry, this is making me a little bit emotional, but we will continue. If I saw a person that was struggling with some kind of social settings, with feeling overwhelming, but didn't know what to do, I could at least respect her or his space and could tell that it's okay, take your time, I'm always here. For example, recently I discovered that I want to meet my cousin, but here is the fact: she's feeling overwhelmed and anxious with socializing with other people, and maybe she has also similar experiences, or it's different, I don't know. But I only sent an email to her and told my grandmother, so we can create a meeting, and if she wants to participate, she can participate. I invited her and sent an email to her, and that's it. That's all. Because I know her struggle. I cannot force her. I cannot mock her. I cannot. So it's not my responsibility to say, you should go out or etc. If this will make her feel overwhelmed, maybe it's okay to I don't know, respect her space. So neurotypical people, like the people that were, I don't know, having fun with my sensitivity, they were like, using emojis, passive aggressively mocking with me. Also, with high sensitivity people, sometimes we don't get the passive aggressive talking. We feel lots of emotions, lots of conditions, and we even adapt that, and we even help other people with that. It's like we are healers and we are like supporting characters. But what about us? Also, we sometimes don't have the ability to understand passive-aggressive messages. But after a certain age, especially after my 20s, I started to understand the passive-aggressive messages in a way, not in a best way, but I started to understand. So they were using emojis. For example, I was using a hat during that time, and they were sending a emoji with hats that was representing me. So they were literally obsessed about me. They were literally obsessed about the fact that I was dissociating myself from them. Even though, for example, when I was in social settings, I was laughing, I was sociable, etc. Because I love socializing. I love being a social butterfly, but I have some kind of sensitivity. That's why it's really hard for me to socialize in closed places, in crowded places, because I'm feeling overwhelmed. But they didn't understand this. And it's okay. They were neurotypical. But I mean, at least it would be nice to not, make fun of my limitations, let's say. Because I was at a new country and I was a high sensitive person. So it was already hard for me to being existent there. So, but now I'm aware. I'm really glad that I lived this kind of experiences, because right now I'm really aware of the fact that now I can see what triggers me, what triggers my eating disorder, what triggers my anxiety or such. I'm still exploring myself. But I mean, yeah. Also, I will also talk about the mother and the parent aspect of that. So, my mother figure, even though she was an arts teacher, well, she knew actually my condition. Because, I mean, when I wasn't able to learn in a classroom, she was helping me with stuff or such. But this created some kind of codependency with her, okay? So I think I'm talking about my mother issues right now. Let's talk about them, okay? It created some kind of codependency. I said that, okay, the world is cruel, but I have my mother figure, and with her I can resolve, I can do everything. I thought it's about like that. Well, she was acting like an angel, and she was always there to help me. Well, I have always had some kind of supporting people around me. For example, during my master's studies, a girl wanted to be by my side because I was attracting attention, and she wanted to be the part of that, I guess. I don't know. And these kind of people, I don't know, they also have their own traumas based on their familial aspects, because, I mean, yeah. But I mean, when the topic comes to my mother figure, she created her image as an helping angel, a helper. That's why when I had a tough day, I always talked about my issues, my struggles or such, to her, I was crying a lot with her, and I didn't cry properly in front of other people. I was only crying in front of her, and I thought me being open with her was the best thing for me. I was really happy that I had a supporting mother figure, but it turns out that it creates a kind of a codependency, because she's existent in every area of your life. She literally commands your life. So it's also called toxic femininity, I guess. It's like a pilot parents, I guess. And after a certain age, I wanted to be more independent. And for example, until 14, we shared the same bed because she was too dependent. Also, she has some kind of dependency on her own mother, because, that's why she also imposed these ideas to me. Okay. Especially after 18, I wanted to go abroad. I wanted to explore new things, new places or stuff. And she didn't handle it well. Especially before my master's. She was overwhelmed. She was distancing herself. And she was, passive aggressively telling me things. Because, I wanted to be independent. I wanted to explore myself more independence, because you see, for example, you can have some kind of connections with people, but when that person tries to control you, it's like, for example, when I talk with her, it's like, yes, she's helpful, she teaches stuff really well to me because she knows me really well. But she's like, okay, now you do that, you can do that, and you are the best, I love you, stuff. Yes, it's okay to be motivational, but her point of view was, I'm a helper, I'm a supporting character in every aspect of your life, so I can control your life. That also affected my relationships, because when I couldn't get along with people, she was always there for me. This made me distance myself from other people, and I ended up not having, healthy partners or stuff. And also, after a while later, I started not to trust other girls, because I was seeing her manipulative, passive-aggressive behavior after 20, or let's say 18. So when I was achieving something that wasn't dependent on her, she started to feel overwhelmed, anxious about the fact that I was creating a life that didn't involve her. So that's why my master's studies made her more anxious, because she was my anchor. But she didn't teach me that I could actually live by myself. What is my triggers? What's going on with my life? So, yeah, because she saw it like that. So, if you were raised in an environment like that, it's normal to, impose it to your child. So I have had always people that wanted to help me or stuff, be existent, be over attentive at my life. But when I was like, okay, now I want to do my own independent thinking, now I want to do my own thing, they were getting angry and they were starting to talk passive aggressively, and they even did lots of gossiping behind me, and I was hearing about this. So here is the deal. Being a high functioning sensitive person is like an attraction point. The people who weren't, supported emotionally, didn't feel validated. Feel validated when you are around, because you sponge their emotions, and them and their inner child feel better when they are around you. Okay, so at a certain age, this created some kind of God complex, egoistical way of me as well, because during that time, due to this kind of way of thinking, being more high sensitive, neurodivergent, I could actually play with people like instruments. I wasn't even aware of it. I was just like being existent in a room, nonchalant. And when I told them about their issues, pointed out their direction that they needed to go, they were becoming obsessed over me, but in a toxic way. So they were starting to, wanting to own me, I guess. They wanted to, because I was talking with their inner child, and their inner child were saying, I want to own that toy. I want her. So that's why a lot of neurodivergent people can become emotionally manipulative, and they say also dark empaths. They can use it for their own, interests, because sometimes we are living in a cruel world, and these type of things happen because neurodivergent people experience lots of stuff, lots of trauma that affect their perspective on other people. So at a point you actually weaponize it. So I will also talk about it in some day, because I already talked about my villain era and I associated with my daddy issues. But now here I am talking with some toxic feminine figures, and I like the voice when I'm I like the echo. Okay. Okay, so in the following episodes I will be probably talking about the toxic sides of being a neurodivergent person, being a dark empath. What does it mean? How can you use it? I will actually talk about it because it's fun. Sometimes you need to address the toxicity as well during your shadow works or such. Okay, so that's all for today. I wish all of you a nice, healthy, and comfortable day.